you buy. From darker white balsamic to cold-pressed extra virgin olive oil from all over the world, there is something for everyone. Vinaigrette, located at 50th and Xerxes in Minneapolis, or at vinaigrettemn.com. The Park Tavern is your go-to destination for fun. Enjoy the fantastic food like their pizzas, burgers, and sandwiches, the best bowling in Minnesota, their wildly popular outdoor patio, great drink specials, all the big games on their numerous screens, and it's the perfect place for your next private event, even large gatherings for over 200. The Park Tavern is your go-to destination for everyone. Have fun at the Park Tavern, Louisiana Avenue, north of Highway 7 in St. Louis Park.
They'll challenge your authority because that's what kids do. But this car is your territory. And in here, your word is law. So when you say you won't move until everyone's buckled up, you won't budge an inch until you hear that click. Never give up until they buckle up. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. For more information, visit safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup.
With a look at your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Clearing skies tonight with a low of 29, then Wednesday, clouds move back in with a high of 52. Nightingale is your cozy, comfortable neighborhood bar and restaurant at 26th and Lindale in Minneapolis. Come in for the famous Nightingale burger or the ginger tamari chicken wings. View their menu or place a takeout order at nightingalempls.com.
The views expressed and the opinions given by the individual host, guest, random reptoid, or chupacabra may not necessarily reflect those of AM 950 Radio, its affiliates, or its sponsors. Now, it's time to step into the unknown. There are things people experience but never talk about. A shadow moving in the corner, flickering of the lights, a disembodied voice. We invite you to talk with us. Share your story, share your experience, because this isn't just your story, this is our story. This is Ghostbox Radio with Greg Bakken.
And this is Ghostbox Radio on AM 950, where every night we talk about the paranormal, ufology, Bigfoot, and so much more. Happy Super Tuesday, everybody. I hope that you took care of what you needed to take care of today, and I hope you had a good day with it. And maybe today is the perfect day to be talking about having angels coming around with you, doing traveling and doing your stuff. So we're going to get to that in a second. I hope that maybe you were all not as pathetic as I was today, as Facebook being down for 15 minutes, an hour, or whatever it was, and I'm kind of losing my crap there a little bit, if you don't mind me saying so. Not so much, and honestly, not so much because I was like, my gosh, how am I going to survive? It was more because I felt, I think so many people felt like they were hacked. And, it felt like that, my gosh, is everything that I have accumulated on Facebook and all the pages that I'm an admin on, or I run, or anything else for the last 10, 12 years, is that gone now? I don't know. And so that was scary. And it kind of makes things a little bit more difficult for me, because I have been getting, over the past 2 weeks, actually over the past 2 years, on a regular basis, somebody has been trying to hack my Facebook account. So it's like I will get an email saying, did you request a code to get a new password? And the funny thing is, I know who's doing it. I know the person who's doing it, and they just don't seem to want to give up. So be it. That's your deal. I don't care. You're not going to get in. But that was my first thought. Is like, oh, great. That's all I need, is that this has finally happened. And is it weird to say, thank goodness I wasn't the only one? I felt at least that, I wasn't alone. A great deal of, great sigh of relief when it became obvious that everybody was kind of dealing with this. So, and I knew at that point, someday we'll get it. But as it happens, the one thing that did come out of this is like, I'm sure we're going to get this all resolved by the show tonight, but it just so happened that every interaction I've had with my guest tonight is through Facebook, And it's like, what are we going to do? It's like that was kind of like the horse and carriage sort of moment of like, well, how do I get a hold of her? Luckily I did. Well, we got it all figured out, and then Facebook did eventually come back on. And I am really excited tonight because we're talking here tonight with Chaplain Jody Den, and Jody has written a book back in January, and that seems like a long time ago now, even though it's just over getting into the third month, called Angel Trippin', Your Guide to Angel Adventures. And for those who might remember, I did a angel episode about a month ago or so, where I just kind of talked about my feelings on angels and stuff. And it's a kind of a passion of mine, to be honest. So when I saw that Jody had written this book, I wanted to make sure I got her on. And she has so many talents. She does so many good things. We're going to kind of do kind of like the kind of taking it layer by layer throughout the show. So Jody, welcome to Ghostbox Radio.
Well, thank you, Greg. I really appreciate you having me on, and the fact that angels are your passion, angels are my passion. This should be a lot of fun.
Well, and I'm here as a student tonight. I'm here to listen to your great stories and your experiences, and just know that as soon as we talked off air that you said that there was a number of people who are excited that you're going to be on my show. I've had a number of people who are excited that you were going to be on my show, that they're just like, you're going to have a great guest. You're going to have, I can't wait to hear her stories. And, this is kind of what you do anyway, right? You go out and you speak to people and you give great presentations.
Yes, and of course, always about angels, but other things too, because I am a light worker, a shadow healer.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an ordained pastor and a former Army chaplain. So it's kind of like, which hat do you want me to put on for this event?
Well, and I also wondered, is it just easier to say what you are not opposed to what you are? That might take less time. I don't know, but
Right.
Well, so why don't we just first of all, you had this very successful signing for this book this last weekend. I saw a ton of people who had posted pictures, and they were excited to see you, and it looked like a lot of fun. And now you're going to be out at the Palmer House this Friday. Is that Friday, right?
Yes. Yep. Friday the 8th. And I will be there from noon until 1 p.m. And so we had a great turnout on Saturday. We were at Rustic Roots Winery, which is kind of over by Stillwater here
Sure.
in the metro area, the Twin Cities. And so to get out to Palmer House in Sauk Center is really exciting. And then, of course, we're going to do some investigating afterwards too. And that's a great place to investigate.
It really is. Now, when you're going up 94 and you are passing 241 in St. Michael, just wave. That's where I am. So just
all right, I will do that.
I'll know if you don't do it. Just know that, Jody. I'll know if you don't do that. So she's just like, what did I get myself into? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that one either. Jody, so let's talk about your book, Angel Trippin', your guide to angel adventures. And what is the book about?
All right, so let me go back to why the book came about.
Okay.
A very dear friend of mine, Maria Schmidt, she is the owner slash operator, if you will, of Mysterious Adventures Tours.
Mm-hmm.
And my husband and I have been on several trips with her, and we're due to go on another one now this summer to Greece, which we're really excited about. But Maria had asked me to write an article for her blog, and she wanted me to write on an incident that happened at Lep Castle in Ireland. So I'll come back to that.
Okay.
So I did. Excuse me. And I sent it off to her, and she comes back, and of course she thanks me for it, and she goes, "So when's the book coming out?" And so I paused for a moment, and I thought, she's got something here. That's the angels talking to me through her, that this is where we start talking about angels to people, is through this book. Mm-hmm. So what the book is about is how the angels communicate with us when we're going to travel. The book takes you from all of your preparations, your planning, your packing, who you're going with, who you should go with. Um, they might come through and say, here's the name of a restaurant. You maybe don't know even where the restaurant is, but you start Googling the restaurant and you go, oh, well, that's in such and such a village, and we're going to be there on such and such a date. I think I better check it out. So then, as you get done with all your preparations, then you go on your travels, and it talks about how the angels are going to interact with you. So it tells you through all of your different sensors how angels communicate, which they can through hearing and through sight and through knowing and through smell. A lot of people didn't realize that they will communicate with you through smell.
Mhm.
All these different things. And of course, I tell stories along the way of how they have communicated with me. And then finally, the book culminates with when you get back home, what you should do with those angel experiences that you've had, because it's opened you up even more to what the angels are doing for you. Angels are only messengers. That's their one and only purpose. That's their career. They're communicators, they're broadcasters, whatever you want to call them. And everybody has got at least one guardian. Of course, there's more angels around than just the guardian angel.
Mhm.
Archangels are there,
Yep.
but everybody's got, that guardian angel. And the more you open up to them, the more you learn about how they're guiding your life. So the bottom line of the book is I've taken the venue of travel and put all of that in for how angels really interact with you throughout your life.
Mhm.
So that's kind of it in a nutshell, rather than me just sitting down and hammering out a book about, well, this way and that way, and I had this experience, I had that experience. It's not only travel journeys, but our life journey as well is the guide to angel adventures.
So, I think one of the things that I'm getting from this is that, I think a lot of us are like, when we think of guides and whatnot, that they're there to kind of help us traverse through difficult situations. But if I'm understanding this correctly, though, is that, yes, there is that, but there's also the part that you can let the angels, who are going to be close to you anyway, help you maybe get the best out of life in general.
Absolutely. We have to remember you've got, I say, your good angels and you've got your bad angels, your fallen angels.
Mm.
I say, well, the good ones sit on your right shoulder and the bad ones sit on your left shoulder, like all the cartoons used to show us when we were kids growing up. The thing that a lot of people don't realize is that the good angels are not the pretty angels. It's the fallen angels that are the pretty ones that want you to follow them. And so they're all out there. Oh, you're going to like me. I'm very lovable. I'm warm and fuzzy and cuddly. And I look great and all of that. Where if we were to actually see one of our light and love angels, we would probably have the absolute crap scared out of us because they
Mm.
are not pretty at all. They are actually quite scary looking by the descriptions, the written descriptions that we've been given through basically ancient texts and scriptures and a variety, of literary forms and even depictions. Some of the ancient civilization depictions of them too. They're not pretty creatures, the good ones. So you have to learn how to separate them out and realize who is actually talking to you. And you kind of get an idea of that by what is their message? Is it coming through as something positive that has a positive direction? If it has a negative direction, it's called, that's the one you don't want to talk to. Maybe as attractive as it might sound initially, it's really not the way that you want to go. So this isn't as easy as what you might think it is. And it takes a lot of practice and it takes a lot of time and effort to learn to get to know how your angels communicate with you, because they're going to communicate differently with each and every one of us. How they communicate with me might not be the same way that they communicate with you, Greg.
I mean, and
And so that's why it's
I was just going to say that makes sense to me. I mean, I guess the idea of and it makes me actually sound shallow when I say this. The idea of the angels that are there to help us, that they're it's not a matter of them not being pretty, but they almost sound like when you're the way that you're describing them, they almost sound like worn. You know what I mean? Like kind of worn and ragged, so to speak.
Yes. I mean, think about what they put up with us.
Right?
I mean, and of course, angels have free will just like we have free will. So, I mean, they totally get us because they're going, oh, she's going that way. We got to drag her back. And we can be really some stubborn and belligerent energies.
Well, not me, of course, but yeah.
No, not you, Greg. But the nice thing is they don't give up on us. And we don't have to believe in them because they believe in us. And that's the main point, is that they are here strictly for us to make sure that we are fulfilling our soul contract. That's what they are all about. And so they are tugging and pushing and pulling on us all the time. So when you say that they're worn, that's actually a great way to describe them, because think of our moms and our dads, our parents, and what they went through with us.
Well, you think about like, as I remember when my mom had passed, and we put together one of those like photo boards, and you got all these pictures of her before she had us. And it's like, oh, God, what a beautiful woman. I mean, she always was beautiful, don't get me wrong. But, it's just like, wow. And then, you just think about all that she had to go through just to put up with my sister and myself. Yeah, I totally get that. Totally.
Right. And one of the stories that I tell in the book is from when I was younger. And we were on vacation in South Dakota,
Mhm.
and at the reptile gardens. Well, anybody
Yeah.
who's been to the reptile gardens in South Dakota
Yep.
knows that there's lizards and snakes and crocodiles and alligators and all those sorts of creatures. Well, I wasn't one to listen real well as a child, whether it was to my parents or to the angels. And I knew the angels talked to me. I had my first angel experience at the age of 3. But we were in the reptile gardens, and I went running up to this one railing, and I jumped up on it, and I started to slip. And thankfully, my mom, the angels were telling her at the same time, you better grab her, because as I'm starting to slip, I see what's at the bottom of that tank. And it was 2 crocodiles
Oh my
that were bigger than a truck.
Nope.
I will never forget that. And I know the angels were screaming at my mom, and they were screaming at me. And thankfully, because my mom listened like I listened, she got there in time and she pulled me back.
Unbelievable. Jody, why don't we go ahead and do this, Jody? Let's take our first break. When we come back, we have a lot to talk about. We are talking to Jody Den. We're talking about her book, Angel Trippin', Your Guide to Angel Adventures. If you have any questions, put them in the comments. You're listening to Ghostbox Radio on AM 950.
We're at the crossroad, guarded by the maiden Mother Crone. A treasure trove of spells galore, discover incense, books, jewelry, and more. Just as the oracles foretold, this is where your mystery unfolds. As the shadows creep and the veil gets thin, do not fear what lies within. Magus Books is where your journey begins. Visit us at 1848 Central Avenue Northeast in Minneapolis, or online at magusbooks.com.
Twin Cities Pagan Pride is thrilled to host Paganicon 2024, March 15th through the 17th at the Crown Plaza, Minneapolis West Hotel. Come to Paganicon to experience deep community where people gather to learn, socialize, and get inspired. Check out all our featured guests and list of activities at tcpaganpride.org and register now for this incredible conference. Paganicon is a pagan conference offering workshops, panels, discussions, social space, music, a ball, vendors, and much more. Paganicon is an educational and social venue for pagans, Wiccans, heathens, druids, people of other folk, craft, indigenous, and magical traditions. Paganagon has a vendor room and third offering art gallery, which are both open to the public all weekend. Paganagon is a safe place, not only to be yourself, but to meet other like-minded individuals. Register now. Check out Paganagon's full weekend, day only, and special event rates. Go to tcpaganpride.org and click on Paganagon to register and get more details.
Reach your highest level of consciousness and well-being with metamorphosisconnections.com. Metamorphosisconnections.com is an online directory of the best holistic and metaphysical practitioners to help you make your most informed choices. You can search metamorphosisconnections.com for classes, events, wellness and life coaches, plus metaphysical products and shops. You can also search for a wide array of healers from all modalities, including EFT, sound healing, energy healing, light therapy, ancestral healing, shamanic healing, reflexology, past life regressions, hypnotherapy, yoga, and more. And if you're not sure where to start, the search feature on metamorphosisconnections.com is tailored to help both those who know what they are looking for and those who are just starting. Come explore the possibilities for your higher self by visiting metamorphosisconnections.com. Their experienced practitioners
And don't forget to join us this Wednesday at Billy's in Anoka. That's this Wednesday is actually tomorrow at Billy's in Anoka at 6:30 p.m. for Ghost Stories and Beyond. This month, we're going to be doing live spirit box session where we're going to try to bring through loved ones as well as anyone else. It's $10 to get in, and it does not cover the cost of food or drink. But remember, burgers are half price tomorrow. This is, for those who know me, I'm kind of all about the spirit box when I do my paranormal investigations. I've kind of made it my existence in this field by doing what we call ITC work. And so I don't do this very often, but we're going to give it a try. We're going to see, and when I say we don't do this very often anymore, the public stuff, but we're going to see if we can bring through anyone. It's going to be a lot of fun. Now, great things are happening at Mega's Books this weekend. March 9th is Chaos Magic 101, starting at 1 p.m. This class will cover the history of chaos magic as a movement, as well as its core philosophy. Students will leave with an understanding of how to immediately use the principles of chaos magic, as well as how to make their own sigils. Then on Sunday, March 10th, look for fun new ways to explore tarot. Nancy Antonucci is hosting a tarot sandbox lab at Mega's Books in Minneapolis. This free experimental class offers playful exercises to help you deepen your understanding of tarot imagery. Now be sure to pre-register for these events at megasbooks.com, and also just check out the site to see what else is going on there. There's a lot of great things happening over at Mega's Books. Please go over there and check it out. We are talking with Chaplain Jody Den, and we are talking about her new book, Angel Trippin'. It's your guide to angel adventures, and it's been out for a couple months. It seems like it's being received very well, Jody.
I couldn't be happier because it wasn't something I'd planned on doing. And we talked at the beginning of the show, it was one of those things where the angels actually had to come through a good friend and say, where's the book? And that's what prompted me to write it. And I'm really glad that I did. And everybody does seem to be enjoying it, which I'm really glad about, because sometimes, there's a lot of books about angels out there. And it's not that they're bad books, but they kind of end up repeating, from one book to another, which again, there's nothing wrong with that. It just solidifies and confirms everything. But with this one, I tried to, bring it to people in a little different way. And that is through the venue of travel. And my husband and I are avid travelers, and so it was perfect.
That is amazing, and you're right. And I do like a lot of books about angels as well, absolutely. But this is a unique take on it, but it's applicable for people no matter what, and that's what I like about it. Right.
Because we're all on a life journey. We're all traveling through our own time and space continuum, if you will, as part of our soul life. And so, yeah, it's just kind of what alliteration you want to use for it.
Absolutely. Now, just going to the comments real fast, get you up to date, Jody, and what's been being said out there. Joanne is just saying, and who is this sweet lady? Huh? How nice is that? She
Thank
looks a
you,
lot more
Joanne.
Joanne, she looks a lot more comfortable than I do. That's for sure. I mean, do you have a drink over there? I mean, it just seems like you need, whether it's a glass of wine or hot chocolate. It looks like you are just ready for, like, just are you going to watch a movie while we're talking or something? I mean, you look so relaxed over there.
No, it's a lot more fun to sit here and talk to you, Greg, than any movie.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Heather Ann says this book sounds amazing. And it is amazing. And for those who want to, you can get it through Amazon, right? Is there other places you prefer people to go to get the book?
Well, I think probably the two most common ones that people have been using are Amazon and Barnes and Noble.
Mm-hmm.
It is available in 14 countries. And so basically, all you have to do is just Google Angel Trip and Your Guide to Angel Adventures, and all of your options are going to pop up. But Amazon and Barnes and Noble for sure.
That is great. That is fantastic. Annette says that she likes the subject matter and she likes you. She also says that she likes the title of the book. It sounds very youthful. And I guess maybe it's trippin'. That's what maybe that's what it kind of sounds like to me. Trippin', Angel Trippin'. I like that. It is fun. It's a fun title.
Well, and hopefully people think that it's a fun book. The comments that I've heard is people do think it's fun because it is like an adventure to read it, but it also will, help people to realize some of their angel adventures. I know I had one person who'd read the book message me on Facebook and say that she has to go back now and start thinking about her life and some of the things that have happened because she believes that she's had angels there at different points in time and never realized it. And I think that is what a lot of people will find after they've read the book is, oh my gosh, there were angels talking to me here and there were angels talking to me there. And maybe I should have listened to them this time and I didn't because I did that enough times. They talked to me and I just poo-pooed them
Nope.
and did my old thing.
We were talking in the last segment about smells and stuff, and Annette says, so I periodically smell brewed coffee. That's an angel sign. Why not? If you like it, why not? I don't know. Well,
right?
And don't they say, though, Jody, that if there is no coffee being brewed, but you smell it, that's a sign of a stroke coming? No, I don't know. I don't know what that is, but it's interesting. Annette says that she has a question about smells, but does not put the question in there. So if you can, Annette, go ahead, ask your question, put it in the comments. We'll do so. But Jody, I wanted to ask you a question when we're talking about, and I'm kind of fascinated by the look of the angels, because we have these preconceived notions. This a lot of wouldn't you say a lot of what we think angels look like come from like paintings around the time of the Renaissance? I mean,
exactly.
Do angels have wings?
They do have wings, but they're not the way we know wings to be.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly what they look like, I cannot tell you for sure because I have never seen an angel in that form.
Mm-hmm.
I have seen them through sparkles. I have seen them through bursts of color. I have heard them. Of course, I know them because they talk to me all the time. And then a couple of times I've had with the smells. I know a lot of times when people are doing paranormal investigations, smells will come through and they will attribute it to spirits. And this is, of course, all subjective, as you know, Greg.
Mm-hmm.
I believe, just based on all of my research and reading and discussions with other people, that it's not actually the spirit that is bringing the smell through. It is the angel bringing the smell through, sort of via the spirit.
Like a conduit.
Yes.
Yeah,
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same thing with spirits talking. There are many texts and writings that say spirits do not talk. So when we hear spirits talk, whether it's through a ghost box or actually hear a voice, an audible voice, That's not the spirit. That's the angel doing the talking. Now, they're probably talking for the spirit,
Hmm.
but it's not actually the spirit. So that's another way that angels work. It's not just messages. How do I want to say it? Yes, for us, but a different avenue that they're coming through so that we're more comfortable with them. That's
Yeah.
probably the best way to put it.
Yeah. Do you think that based on how you see angels, like just your experience and how you see angels, do you think that they have decided that that is the best way that they should be presenting themselves to you? Like there's a choice, like they decide that this is how we believe that it's going to be most impactful for Jody.
Absolutely. Yeah, they're going to manifest to me or you or Annette or Joanne, all people who are
Mhm.
listening here in ways that we're going to be comfortable with, that we're going to be receptive to, that we will notice, because there there are stories people have told me stories are in my podcast of where one minute they're there as a living, breathing person like you and I are,
Mhm.
but they turn for just a split second and turn back and they're gone. I've never had that experience,
Yeah.
but I have countless stories of other people who have had that sort of an angel encounter. So, absolutely, it depends on who we are as to how the angels are going to, present themselves.
So Annette did put a little bit more to her question in the comments, and I think it's a very good question, Annette. And thank you very much
Thanks.
for putting it in here. She and I don't know if she is talking about the coffee smell, because I kind of originally took that as kind of a joke, because a lot of people love coffee to a ridiculous degree. I personally don't, so that's why I just assume that we're all just having. But she's like, I smell coffee, and she always associated, if I'm reading this right, Annette, so forgive me if I'm misconstruing this. I always associated the smell with my mom. Is it my imagination?
Oh, interesting. Okay. The angels are coming through with the coffee smell because, yes, you associate it with your mom. And so they are using that because that is such a familiar and safe and comfortable person for you that I would say that is why they are using the smell of coffee, because that association is so dear to you. Absolutely.
I remember when my dad passed, and we once we found out, we went to mom and we hung out with her for a bit, and this was like at 3-4 in the morning, and I went to my work to pick up my laptop because I knew I wasn't going to be back at work for a while. And once I got out of my car, which was in downtown Minneapolis, there was this scent that I picked up that I immediately, without question, associated with my dad, and it stayed with me. It to this day, it stayed with me. It will come through every once in a while, but it was very prevalent up until his funeral, and then after that, it dissipated quite a bit for a long time. It would come in and out, and I guess what I'm getting at here is I think, and Jody, you tell me what you think about this. I think you have to really kind of, that's where faith comes in. If you think something is associated with somebody, it has to be what resonates with you, right? So if Annette's out there and she's like, I'm just not sure, but it's certainly something that mom would do or that I would get, that's where it's like, take it, right? I mean, I would just like, yes, absolutely.
Yes, uh, I, I, I have, what do I want to say? Angels have literally been a part of me for as long as I can remember. And so when things come through that for a minute I might stop and go, oh, wait, what? And
Mhm.
then it's like, well, why are you even hesitating? That's the angels that are coming through. So yes, I'm still a skeptic with things, and when we go on investigations, I still will go, yeah, no, I kind of don't really think so, and I take that step back and kind of analyze it. But when it comes to the angels and messages, I really don't hesitate a whole lot anymore. And that's, I think, what people will find, that the more that they open themselves up to the angels and they get comfortable with receiving the messages, what the messages are and how they're coming through, the skepticism will start to fall away.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I mean, would you say it takes a leap of faith?
Yes. Yes. And in fact, so my mom, bless her heart, she's 95 years old and she's still alive, sharp as can be.
That's great.
And when something will come to mind for me that I haven't thought about like in forever, I will call her and I will say, okay, so I just thought about this and this is what I'm thinking. Was this an angel thing? And it usually was something that maybe she was right there with me, or certainly something that I talked to her about at that immediate point in time. And she will go, yes, that definitely was. And so she just confirms for me. So, there are still those times where I have to, pause for a moment, but a lot of it is faith. But like I said, the more that you do it, the faith is strong, and you just keep going. Thank you, angels. Thank you, angels. And that's one thing you always have to make sure that you do
Yep.
is thank your angels.
Yep. Absolutely. And I also, this is where I always like to point out as well that there is a distinct difference between faith and religion. Because I think people
Yeah.
might get a little confused, or might just be like, well, I don't want to do anything religious. Faith does not mean religion. I mean, however you look at it, whatever you want to say about it in terms of the individual person, what they take from it, that's totally fine. But they are different things.
Right. Well, and one thing people have to realize is um, angels are not religious beings.
No, no.
Not at all. They're found in just about every religion in the world, but they're also found in non-religious civilizations and cultures, the ancient ones that go way back, where there was no religion. And that just says that they are simply messengers for us, trying to keep us on the right path for what our soul contracts say. So,
I
yep,
mean,
it's nothing to do with religion.
nothing to do with
Faith,
religion.
absolutely, not religion.
Absolutely. Nope. And that's just one of the things that it takes a little bit of a paradigm shift for some people. And I understand that, and that's fair. But yeah, I mean, because it's like and my take on it, Jody, is like, honestly, if that's what I have to put my faith in, is somebody who is looking out for me, somebody who is good, somebody who is in my best interest for free. Really, I mean, what's the harm? What's the harm of having some faith in that?
Right. And Survivor Angels, which really is my podcast and my website, and why I got all of this going. So many people feel so alone in this world, and they struggle with that, and they just struggle with. I mean, the media bombards us with so much negativity and so much bad news that it's just nice knowing that there is somebody in our corner that really loves us and wants what's best for us, and it's the angels. Their energy, their loving, light-filled energy. That's what they are, except for the fallen angels.
Yeah.
Gotta look out for them.
You got to look out for them. So why don't we go ahead and do this? Let's take our next break. When we come back, some people wanted to see what are some of your favorite stories from the book. I have a couple more things in the comments. If anyone wants to add anything to comments, you're more than welcome to do so. You're listening to Ghostbox Radio on AM 950.
You need to be listed on metamorphosisconnections.com. It's a network where you can grow with like-minded practitioners and reach new clients. Metamorphosisconnections.com is an online directory you need to list yourself and your business. Our platform makes it easy for you to create listings of your products and services, and you can also choose to list your classes, events, and so much more. MetamorphosisConnections.com helps you create weekly and monthly promotional ads targeted towards your potential clients and promotes them for you via social media and newsletter. There are clients searching for your specialty right now. Let us help them find you. Start your listing today so you can share your own unique gifts and talents by finding the level of membership that best fits your needs. Let us help you reach your clients that are searching for what you do. Visit MetamorphosisConnections.com and sign up today.
Feeling like people just don't get the vibrant rainbow unicorn that is your celestial essence? Have you been wondering how you stepped into this infernal, mundane timeline full of muggles, NPCs, and toilet paper shortages? Here at Magus Books and Herbs, we get you, and are staffed with real-life unicorns just waiting to help you rediscover your shine. So come explore your magical side with books, herbs, incense classes, and more at 1848 Central Avenue Northeast in Minneapolis or online at magusbooks.com.
Twin Cities Pagan Pride is thrilled to host Paganicon 2024, March 15th through the 17th at the Crown Plaza, Minneapolis West Hotel. Come to Paganicon to experience deep community where people gather to learn, socialize, and get inspired. Check out all our featured guests and list of activities at tcpaganpride.org and register now for this incredible conference. Paganicon is a pagan conference offering workshops, panels, discussions, social space, music, a ball, vendors, and much more. Paganicon is an educational and social venue for pagans, Wiccans, heathens, druids, people of other folk, craft, indigenous, and magical traditions. Paganicon has a vendor room and third offering art gallery, which are both open to the public all weekend. Paganicon is a safe place, not only to be yourself, but to meet other like-minded individuals. Register now. Check out Paganicon's full weekend, day only, and special event rates. Go to tcpaganpride.org and click on Paganicon to register.
And join me tomorrow on Ghostbox Radio with Greg Bakken. We are going to do what we call kind of my version of a special episode of Ghostbox Radio. It's a Just Greg episode where I'm going to be playing some of my favorite Spirit Box recordings that I have accumulated, that I've heard, that I've done during one of my sessions over the past 15 years. And I'm really excited to be able to share some of this with folks. Some of you may have heard this before. Some of you who know me know that I do Spirit Box on a fairly regular basis. And I use it to actually try to help bring through loved ones for other people. And once again, tomorrow, we're going to be at Billy's Bar and Grill in Anoka, and we're going to be doing this. That's going to start at 6:30 tomorrow. But tomorrow night for the show, I'm going to be playing some of the recordings that I've picked up over the years. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun to be able to play some of that. So please join in. And then the rest of the week, we have some great programs that are going to be on. We're going to be replaying Anna Maria Manalo. We had her on talking about her book, The Night Visitant. And if anyone remembers that, when we had Adam, who was running the board that night, it scared the you-know-what out of him. He had to sleep with the lights on. That goes to show what kind of writer she is. And then, of course, Casual Friday. So we have a lot of good stuff coming up. We have a lot of good stuff happening right now. I am so happy that we have on Chaplain Jody Den, and we're talking about her book, Angel Trippin', Your Guide to Angel Adventures. And we hopefully we're going to get some people to buy some books tonight. I know that's not why you're on here, but I really want people to be able to experience these wonderful stories and this book that you've written about him. I'm really excited for you, and I hope that we get some people checking it out, because it's pretty cool, Jody. It's really cool.
Thank you. And just a note, I'm going to get a plug in if it's okay, Greg.
Please do.
My second book should be out here within about a month, and it's called Cerebrate. Mm-hmm. And so people can be watching for that. And that's all I'm going to say about it. I'm just going to put out that much of a tease. But just know, if they're on Facebook and following me on Instagram or TikTok, I'll be throwing it up on there when it's available.
Please do. And please let me know when it's available. We'll get you back on. We'll talk about it. Hopefully you're enjoying this. Maybe, I don't want to put words.
Oh, this is great fun. I love this.
I don't want to put words in your mouth or anything. So, but, you have this blanket around you. I keep thinking it's a little puppy. I really do. If you look on the screen, does that not look like a little puppy that, like I expect it to jump off and run away or something, and it's actually part of you. So
mean this right here?
that's what I'm talking about. Yeah. So
Yeah. No, it's a pillow.
it's a pillow. Gosh, you just look so
I'm
comfortable
just
over
hugging a
there.
pillow.
My God. So a couple things, people, let's see how I can do time management here, because there are people who have questions in the comments that I'd like to get to, and there are people who would like to hear like a kind of a shortened version of a story or something from the book. So let's see if I'm any good at this, and let's see what we can have happen here. Carol says that I'm enjoying listening to all you're sharing, but I've never heard about fallen angels being around us. Can you share more about this?
Ooh, fallen angels. Oh, wow. That's a whole nother
That's
show,
a whole
Greg.
other
We're
thing.
gonna have to do another one on that. But yes, fallen angels are around us just as much as our angels are. And in fact, they are working 24/7, 365 at mega warp speed to get to us, to make us do everything to not
Mhm.
accomplish our soul contracts. And they are the dirty, nasty little buggers that get us in trouble. And so because I know we're on a little bit of a tight time frame right here. Let me just say that yes, they are all around us. And Greg, we should do another show on the fallen angels.
What are you doing tomorrow? No, okay. So
I'm going to be doing a couple of master classes, but they will
Oh,
be in person. One is going to be on the Nephilim, and then the other one is going to be on the Wonder and Awe of Angels. So if people live in Minnesota or Wisconsin, Iowa, close by, those will be coming up like into the fall, and so people can watch for those postings as well.
and your website is chaplainjody.me, right?
Yes.
So, folks, and I'm going to put that into the description when we put out the podcast tomorrow. One last thing about the fallen angels. That's not to be confused with demons. They're not. That's just not the same thing.
It can be.
It can be, though.
Yes, it can
Yeah.
be. And that's why I say it's going to take a whole nother show, because
Okay.
it's as complicated as what the light and love angels are, and we've just only scratched the surface with them tonight.
Understood. Yeah. Let's reschedule for that, and I think that's a great idea. And that says, I don't tune in that often. Sorry, Greg. It's okay. It's we do a lot of these. Do you believe I was led to watch this? I have a struggle every day, especially at my age of 64, and have a huge fear of death. I think it's because of a lack of faith and confusion. A day doesn't go by I think about this subject, and I don't think Annette is by anywhere near alone in that. So, I mean, I always think that there is no such thing as coincidence, Jody.
No, no, absolutely not. No, the angels have you here listening tonight, and I hope that you will keep listening to your angels, because they are going to bring you comfort and guidance. Doesn't mean that the rest of your journey will necessarily all be easy, but they will certainly help to alleviate a lot of your fears, and give you some hope and some peace in that. And I have a daily blog called Cerebrations, and you can find those. I post those on Facebook and TikTok and Instagram, but they are also on my website every day as well. And so check some of those out too, because that's what those are for. Is if you're struggling with something, I go by what the angels tell me. I get up in the morning and this is the message that they say I should write about, and so that's what I write about. And hopefully it will help you then to see how you can also talk to your angels by how I guide you on those blogs.
And so I just put the URL for the website into the comments for all the places that we're streaming from. So folks, please note that, please. One more question, and then let's get to a story real fast. Travis just asked the question: are spirit guides considered to be angels, or are they entirely different entities? We kind of did. He just said he's sorry he got here late, and if it's already been discussed, we did talk about that a little bit. But if we want to kind of close the loop on that.
Spirit guides could be angels or not. A really good person for everybody to check out about spirit guides. She is, to me, the consummate expert on them is Sarah Lemos.
Oh yeah.
Lemos.
Yep.
So just Google Sarah and tap into some of her things about spirit guides, because she knows them inside and out. And she also knows angels too. And so that's why she can give you a very much more detailed response to that. And especially because we're a little short on time here right now too. She leans more towards spirit guides, I towards the angels.
Mhm.
But we did have a 4-series podcast we did together called Unveiling Visitants. And I blew her away a couple of times and she blew me away a couple of
That's
times
great.
on what we thought was going on. So people can check that out too.
That is fantastic. And once again, folks, we are talking with Chaplain Jody Den, talking about her book, Angel Trip In, Your Guide to Angel Adventures. The book's available on Amazon. It's also, you said Barnes & Noble, right, that it's available? Yes. And what is, because folks been asking, I wanted to ask this myself, is what's one of your favorite stories that you put into the book?
Okay, I will tell this one because it's so easily understood.
Mhm.
My husband and I and one of our daughters and her husband, we were headed for Palmer House. Surprise, surprise.
Okay.
On our motorcycles, on our bikes, and we could tell that there was some nasty weather moving in, and we were still a good hour out from Palmer House. So I, of course, had my cell phone. I'm riding as a passenger. I wasn't driving that day, and had my cell phone out. I'm watching the radar and just kind of letting my husband know, about how much time I thought we had before we might have to, pull over somewhere to avoid the storms.
Mhm.
And I got from the angels, look up, look up. And so I looked up into the sky, and there in the clouds, in all of these storm clouds, and I actually have a picture on my website of this, you can see the angel, the shape of
Mm.
the angel in the clouds. And so what the angel was telling me is, stay with me, because I'm with you. And when I disappear, that's when you know it's time to get off the road. And dang if that isn't what happened, because we rode probably another 25 to 30 minutes. And of course, I'm still checking radar and everything. And I looked up and Angel was gone from the clouds. I said to my husband, I said, the next place you see, we need to pull in. And we no more had gotten off the bikes and got into the side. It was just this out of the way little podunk bar restaurant.
Mhm.
And it was a downpour. And lightning didn't happen while we were on the road, but boy, there was lightning and thunder as soon as we got inside. So that's one that's really easy for people to understand.
Sure.
Do we have time for another one?
Well, I actually have a question from that, because
Okay.
like it reminds me of a story when my sister was in marching band back in the late '80s, and they went to New York. And I don't know if you remember, there was mass stabbings on a Staten Island ferry, and they were supposed to be on that ferry, and something changed that either they got there late or something like that. And do you consider that to be possibly work of angels as well, that they're making things kind of difficult in a sense, so you can't get where you are because it will be there to keep you safe, basically?
Absolutely. And it's maybe not necessarily that they're making things difficult, but they are having you notice things that slow you down and distract you, that keep you from moving as fast.
Mhm.
So absolutely, I believe in that.
Absolutely. Now we have about, I would say, about less than 3 minutes. Is there something you can squeeze in 3 minutes
Okay.
to
Start
do your?
holding up fingers if I start getting close.
Okay,
I'm going to give
when
you
we're about a minute out, I'll do this.
Okay, good. Abbreviated version of this story. We are in Ireland, Leap Castle, most haunted castle in Ireland, probably the world. Again, with Mysterious Adventures Tours, Dave Schrader is our ambassador. We're up in the Bloody Chapel. So we're all standing in the circle. This is at night. It's dark. The wind is blowing. I mean, it sounded like there were banshees outside,
Mhm,
and we're
mhm.
in Ireland. It was blowing that strong. We're in a circle, and we had a channeler there, and the channeler said, "Woman with the white scarf, you have been asked to step into the center of the circle." I was the only woman with a white scarf. My husband, before he could stop me, I had stepped into the center of the circle.
Yeah.
Before, I mean, it was just a matter of seconds for me, and all of a sudden I could tell I was losing myself. Something was trying to overtake me. Now, I always call the angels in before I go on investigations, but I could tell I was losing the battle with this now. Now, the paranormal group that we were with, because they'd had an incident with a male pastor the week before, where he literally, his arms were pulled above his head and he was lifted off the floor and was in pain.
Oh, no.
Screaming in pain. They thought they would have to call the ambulance. They immediately pulled me out of the circle. I couldn't clear it. I could not clear it myself. They continued with the investigation. Before we left the Bloody Chapel, Dave said to me, he said, "What do you want me to do?" I said, "I need to have people lay hands on me, and together we need to clear me. I can't do this on my own," which we did that. It helped a little bit. We went downstairs. We sat there with Sean Ryan for a little bit. I could tell I had some of the residual yet. And so I'm calling the angels in the whole time. I knew they were with me. As soon as we walked out the door of Leb Castle, it was like gone. If I wouldn't have called in the angels, I know that I would have been taken over, because the paranormal team told me afterwards that it was the dead priest, the dead murdered priest, and the dark entity that was there, that they were having a tug of war with me up there in the Bloody Chapel. And thanks to my angels, I am sitting here talking to you tonight, Greg.
Absolutely. And thank goodness for that. Honestly, wow. Before we wrap up, a reminder to everybody, Jody's going to be at the Palmer House this Friday. What time again, please?
From noon to 1.
From noon to 1. Everyone remember that the book is called Angel Trippin'. It is your guide to angel adventures. It's available on Amazon. Jody, thank you so much for joining me tonight. What a great program.
Thank you so much, Greg. And I can't wait until we have some more angel conversations.
We certainly will. And I hope that soon we'll get that figured out. Everyone, thank you so much. Tomorrow we'll be talking Spirit Box. Everyone, have a good night.